on Thursday, Rabon's from our community will be for Thursday, the 21st of March. I'll ask me about don't forget to open the car care.
Mēnā e tō. Whakataka te hau ki uru. Whakataka te hau ki tō. Ke mā kina ki ota. Ke mā tangata ki tō. Nei hi ati te atakua. O kia e uka i hau. Ti hei roki.
No apologies. I'll move on. Any conflicts of interest today? No conflicts. Thank you. So we don't have any public forum speakers here this morning, and we have no deputation. So I'll move straight into our speakers for our funding applications. And I see we have two lovely ladies online there, so we'll start off with you so we can get on with the rest of the day. So this is Sophie and Siobhan from Longline Productions, and their application is page 72 in your agenda. Kia ora, welcome. 5 minutes to us.
Next week in Rere Bay, which, you probably know where that is, just out of Whangaroa Harbour, around the corner. That's my family, batches are there, my family land. And we're after some money pretty much for accommodation, boat hireage, boat gas, things like that, because we have a few locals helping us out. And the whole idea of this short film is we're in development on a feature film with a much bigger budget with an American production company, and this is essentially like a proof of concept in a way, because the idea is to come back and keep making more things up there. Anything else, guys?
No, I think that's
it.
Yeah,
that's the gist, really.
It'll take about 5 minutes, but
it doesn't take 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we've just been sort of trying to make sure it's as embedded in the community as possible. So working with Raniera at the local Runganga to sort of do a bit of local casting. Our two lead boys, both from the area, and just because I think Siobhan's commitment to the area is not that she wants to sort of swan in and bring everyone from Auckland and then leave again. It's really trying to actually properly set something up in a way.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories to tell up there.
Yeah. And if I may say so, hopefully slightly more, Moko was the one that pointed it out, not just myself, but like the stories that sometimes get told about the far north are not always probably fair sort of representation really. So this is a much sort of lovely, feel good.
Everything I write and make is usually feel good and a little bit romantic. So there's, so we've got, so that's who we are and what we're after there.
Yeah.
Lovely, thank you both. That leaves us time for questions from members. Prince.
Yes, I see that you're talking about showing the, yes, I'll follow up there, showing it in the film somewhere. Have you considered doing it in the Kaio Hall? For being local, I'm sure there'll be a lot of interest in it.
That's a really lovely idea. Yeah, we should do that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Moko was suggesting something similar.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, great idea. Yeah.
Thank you.
Kaio would write it.
Yeah.
Kia ora, I see that you've got various funding applications pending, and I'm kind of curious to where you've landed in terms of the actual funding you've been able to secure. So did that specific pictures come through? How much do you really need? Are you bankrupting your, where are you at? Can you do the movie even if we said no?
How do we do it? We would be seriously struggling. We managed to get some money from Arnott's Tim Tams, not as much as they initially said they might be able to give us. So because Tim Tams feature in the film, and we got a little bit of money from the creative pot, I can't remember, the Creative Communities Fund, but again, they've got a really small pot, so we're struggling, to be honest. And I know it's all very last minute, but our sort of desperate vibe of trying to get it done before the weather turns, because it's all outside, it's all sort of on a wharf or with boats and stuff. So just literally, it was this like last week of March or next year. And in order to get this feature film up and running, we really needed to be able to show that this is totally workable. We can we can film there, we can bring all the crew across on the boat and all the gear and that kind of thing.
Accommodation options in the area and on a bigger scale. Yeah.
So just because the Americans otherwise might not fully buy in. Exactly.
Still committed to doing it next week.
Sorry? What was that?
Still committed to doing it next week.
Yeah, we have everyone locked in. We've got the actors locked. We've got really good actors, and they're all, it's difficult because they're working internationally at the moment, so it's quite hard to get them locked in, and we managed to somehow get them locked in for next week. So we're just like, quick, let's gotta get it together. Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah.
funding hasn't quite fallen into place for us just yet.
Yeah,
So
we're fingers scrambling. That's okay.
kind of keeping our fingers and toes seriously crossed for today.
Okay.
Right.
I might be a little bit off again, but did you say that you were speaking to Lunona?
Sorry, I couldn't quite catch it.
What did you say?
Are you working with the local runanga?
Yeah, Moko put us in touch with his cousin Raniera, who you guys probably all know, I'm going to guess, because he seems to know everyone. And so he's been helping us just figure out where we could, because we're also going to shoot in a little shop. So he was sort of trying to help us with basically putting us in touch with who can help us with food, who can help us with location, and also local casting. We were trying to find everyone as much as we could around the area.
Lionel.
So he suggested Lionel Wellington, who's
playing one of the leads too.
Yeah. So definitely working with him, and I think probably soaking up a lot of his time. But yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, it just says in your kind of health and safety plan that you have some family that own some of the boats. And so I was just wondering if the charter cost is reduced, or because obviously fuel might be a cost.
Yeah, no, the family that own the boats, that's their job, to charter boats. Albacora, I don't know if you know, but he does charter them. So no, not really, because we still need the gas, and we have to pay, unfortunately. But we do have one boat actually that we're using.
We were just having to pay the gas.
Which is fine. Yeah. But the big boats for the crew and the camera to sit on is, we have to pay for that.
We just can't block it out otherwise.
Yeah, we can't block it out. Yeah.
That answers that.
I just have one last question for you. So you've requested $10,000 from us, and recommendation that's come to $5,000.
Oh, sorry. It just cuts out a little bit occasionally.
Requested $10,000, and the recommendation in our report is $5,000. How crucial is the $10,000? And if you were to receive less, what would you actually target in your application here? You requested $10,000. What is the most important thing you need the money for?
Probably the boats.
Yeah.
Accommodation, we're kind of going, can people sort of share rooms and
things like that? Yeah, it
so
would be the boats would be the main thing.
Yeah.
And possibly some of the hireage.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's okay. We have a breakdown of it here. I just wondered, what was the most.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
sure.
Okay, thank you very much. With that, no further questions. We'll make our decision a bit later in the meeting, and you'll hear later today.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thank you everybody for your time.
Thank you for letting us zoom in.
Yeah.
Cool.
Welcome.
All right.
Good day.
Bye.
Right, next up we have Joe Lynch, And Magnus O'Grady for the Artaka Thompson.
Just me, sorry, Joe's not.
Okay, just you, Magnus.
That's it, but cool, do assumptions.
Page 64 of your agenda. Thank you.
Hey guys.
Thanks, Lee.
Kia ora team, my name's Magnus O'Grady. I've come from the Artaka Thompson this morning. I'm going to assume that most of you have some familiarity with what the Artaka Thompson is, but if you don't, just really quickly, we run a little sail training ship here in the bay. Our function for being, our reason for being, is that through the winter months we run 7-day youth development voyages with local kids or kids at least out of the farm on board. These days we get through about 20 voyages a year between the months of, say, April to December. We put them in, it's a slightly changing number. Each voyage has 12 kids on board, so somewhere in the region of 250 kids that we see through a Rubicon program each year. And that kind of leads me into our funding application today and why we're here. So throughout the course of that month with kids on board, and those weeks in the middle of winter, we have kids in and out of the water right through that time. For a variety of activities, right from early in the morning, we're encouraging them or possibly encouraging them to jump off the side of the ship at 7 in the morning or 7:30, whatever it may be. They're using rope swings, and then throughout the course of the days, we have them snorkeling, we have them in and out of little boats, sailing dinghies, jumping in and off the rocks, this kind of thing, crawling through caves. Our crew, typically really well skilled, well-rounded characters from a variety of different backgrounds. So our track record will prove that we managed to keep the kids safe through all these swimming activities the whole time. So you might wonder do we need the drowning prevention training? And that's more, it's a targeted approach to giving our crew skills that are then transferable to the kids. So as I say, we have to do a pretty good job of keeping the kids safe day to day, but providing our crew with skills that they can then pass on to the kids to take home with them essentially, so that they can approach going to the beach with their friends, with their families, going to our local water holes, this kind of thing, with skills that are going to teach them how to manage those situations when they go wrong. Things do always go wrong. It's pertinent to this board. We do take kids from all over the Far North region, not just the Bay of Islands and Whangaroa region. When I looked at that, I thought pretty quickly, the lion's share of the kids we take do come from within this region, and then those that don't, they come here in summer to go swimming and hang out in the bay anyway, because everybody in the Far North turns up in the bay or Whangaroa to come and hang out. So it does very well fit within that region. And it's come to us through the essence that drowning is a huge issue within the country today. And so if we can take a proactive stance within our program, tackle that front foot, then why not? I did read in the little book, and so I'm sure it might be a question that came up, or that might come up. Joe's put in there is quite a difference between the budget of our program and the amount of money that we've applied for. So I think the total project cost is something around 25,000, and the applied for figure was something around 3,000 or 3,500. This training day and bringing these providers up from Auckland to run this day and this particular training with us takes place within a whole training week that we're providing for our crew. So that budget of 25,000 is the entire week, but there's some other operators and of course the wages of the crew and that sort of thing throughout that period. The 3,500 is the individual cost of the provider coming for the drowning prevention.
Next question.
Whereas,
Okay, we just need clarification on that 25,000 for that.
okay, cool. Yeah, I had a quick look through. I saw that.
Yeah.
I actually, when Joe put the application in front of me, I had to do the same.
Fine.
Selection of the kids.
Of the trainees that come on the ship.
Sure.
Yeah. So we kids trainees we definitely jostle around. We try and keep it available to any kid from within the Far North region. So if they come from further south, we'll charge them more. Our goals is provide funding. How do we get them?
How do you select them?
We're always on battle to get them on board.
So we definitely believe that what we are doing is something that all kids in the community should have the opportunity to do.
I'm not disputing that at all.
No,
Just how do you select the children that will be there?
we're always encouraging to be there. There's never enough. So it's a constant battle for us to keep the ship full and to get them out of the classroom and onto the ship. So we almost don't, unless there's a sort of outlet room that the kids shouldn't be on board, we'll take them.
To the chair, that exists, this is very important role.
Yeah, schools, individuals and parents. So that is part, we have somebody in our job who's out in the schools all the time in the community finding these kids. No worries.
And I'm sorry if I missed it.
Yeah.
I just can't see the 25,000. Is service quote in the agenda from Drowning Prevention Auckland,
Yeah.
which is developing water competence skills for 6 people at $1,200, an additional 4 at $800, an additional staffing at $600. Accommodation, transport and mileage and cost 3,356, excluding GST.
Yeah.
So there's a big leap from there to 20,000.
20 to 25.
Yeah, I'm not seeing what that's made up of. So can you?
Yeah. So that we've made this application to get the cost of that drowning prevention course.
Yeah.
And so we have a pretty tight schedule throughout the year. So we go from our summer day sales that we run back to back right through summer, and then once we start running our winter programs back to back. And so we've carved out a week in between those schedules to run a training week for our crew. And so that budget of 25,000 is the entire training costs of that week for us, of that training week for the crew. And so that 3,500 is the individual cost of that provided for that day. So within the rest of the training week that we've carved out, we'll have another couple of local providers who give their time and come in and give training on history of the bay and facilitation of different activities. We have a lot of internal review of our systems and internal training with the crew as to how we run things before the shift. So that this application is for one piece of that overall training week, which is an expensive week for us. It's carved out a week out of the shift schedule, and so I would just be paying for it as I'm either running our day sales or get funding for it.
So just so I'm clear.
Yeah.
Are you asking for 3,300?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
No worries.
I'm just wondering, Paul and Foundation in application pending.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, sorry.
Right. And I guess the other thing that I was just struggling with this is that you're bringing people up from Auckland to do training. Have you been operating with untrained staff, or the staff who get previously trained have not been able to retain?
So no, so we've never done training like this before. And then I did kind of say in the first part that it's not strictly necessary. I mean, I think in the scheme of things, we always have staff that can keep the kids safe in the water. This is looking at making them better at what they do. So more intensive training. And that opportunity to really provide them with the skills that they can pass on to the kids. So rather than the common sense approach that we all know how to be in the water and we can observe the kids and we know how to get them out, it's skills around deciding when they should be swimming, how to deal. It's the last few years. And it's growing all around the country as people have a desire to go spearfishing, and that's growing and growing and growing all around the country and within different communities. And so that's leading people to swim in more and more unusual places. Essentially, so people are stepping away from just like, oh, we're going to go to the beach and go swimming. It's like we're going to wander around the rocks 300 meters and we're going to jump into this little cut and disappear out through the swell. And so providing our crew with the opportunity to have real skills to teach the kids about that beyond just that. As I said, the common sense approach of we observe you from the ship, and if something goes wrong, I can jump in and save you. So I was trying to go over and above what I've done before.
It's really cute. Just, how do you find the rest of the week?
Working hard now that it's summer. So I think as Belinda was saying, we do have a couple of other funding applications out there, and then we do work hard throughout the year to ascertain some of the money that we make and put it into. We do need to train crew as an operational cost. But again, we're trying to go over and above with it, so expand on that. Before the end of the season, we might have passively provided 2 or 3 days of training. I'm trying to push that out to 4 or 5 days, and really provide the crew with a few more skills.
I just want to know if this type of training is actually available anywhere, but not just a specific team that does specialized.
Not really. And we did look. So this guy down north in Port Wise, he's and what he's doing and the courses they normally provide. So this Australian Prevention, they're an organisation they've developed around basically this nationwide problem that we as people keep putting ourselves in dumb places and drowning. And he's out there developing these courses for that specific reason. So he's pretty on his own. Yeah.
Thank you. Do you have any other questions for the generals?
No worries. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good meeting.
Okay. Next up in the centre for the Harker class application, which is on page 78 of the agenda.
Morning, Koto. Thank you for having me back. This month we'd like to put forward an application to run Haka lessons for adults here at the centre on the bar. The kaupapa came from our community engagement, which we did back in November 2022, and quite a few people said it'd be great for adults to have the opportunity to be able to learn waiata, to be able to learn more about obviously our culture and get stories from Ngāti Reo here, and also be able to participate. There's a lot of events we go along to. I know I'm one of them. I wish I knew I could join in more of the waiata. So for about the last year and a half around this kaupapa, and we said, well, the timing's right in term 2 this year. Let's have a go at it. And we can take up to 40 adults, and of course they'll be welcome to bring along the tamariki and whānau as well. And then at the end of the 8 weeks, they'll give a performance to friends and whānau as well. So it's a really cool idea. Obviously, getting people together singing, it's known, releases endorphins, it gets people connecting more, and just a chance to be able to work with Rami and Crystal, and also Harry Munu from Ngāti Reo here, and Daniel, Matua Daniel as well. So the 4 of them will be taking the lessons. All the funding that we requested for goes straight to those teachers and musicians. And we'll be facilitating it here, helping organise here. And so it's really exciting. They'll be finishing, graduating the week of Matariki. So again, there's a nice opportunity to get people together. So in a nutshell, that's what it is. Yeah.
Thanks, Jerry. Jane, will you be asking for a koha from the participants?
Well, it'll be free, but they can give a koha. It'd be nice to cover a little bit of time. We'll need a staff member to come and open up, to lock up after, etc.
Because it is a common practice, really, to invite people. People expect actually they're going to shoot something like that.
As you see in the budget, there's a few thousand of expenses. It's a generous centre. It'd be nice to recoup some of them. But again, it's not the reason we're doing it. We're just trying to, again, with our vision, bring the arts and culture to the community. So that's
I guess the same performance that people would expect people to come and see a performance.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not unreasonable.
No, yeah.
Yes.
How do you anticipate finding your participants?
Through the Tuesday channel, so we've got 5,000 EDM on our mailing list through our social media channels. It's going to get in touch with the Te Whakatūparanga Kiri Primary School, because there's obviously a big network of parents there. I know a lot of them would also like to join the local community board and the Kiri community, all the normal Facebook pages, and we want to reach it wide. There's obviously 40 participants, but they're welcome from any part of the district, really. So. Okay.
Assuming it's successful, do you imagine this will be an annual program?
Completely. Yeah, I think it's just one more offering, again, connecting people with our local culture and learning more about it, and also, you know, all the other spin-off, like with the community yoga that we've been running for the last year. People come and make new friendships, they get to know other people, and it's just a way of getting the community together, you know, for a positive sort of activity. Good.
It's a Jerry. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Have a good evening.
Thanks. So that's the end of the speakers for our funding applications. So with that, we'll move on to item 6.1, confirmation of the previous minutes on stage 8. I move that the Islands-Whangaroa Community Board confirm the minutes of the meeting held on the 15th of February 2024. I show them very welcome to Lady Sylvia.
Yes.
Thank you, Bruce. Any amendments or alterations? Against? Carried. Moving on to item 7.1, Chairperson and Members Report on page 15. The Islands-Whangaroa Community Board note the reports from Chairperson Belinda Ward, Members Lane Eyre, Amy Slack, Bruce Mills and Jane Pindle. Do I have a mover? Thank you, Jane. Seconder, Carla. Mine block here. Right. I will take mine as read. The only thing I would like to discuss here is under my first two RESs. These have been sitting with me for 2-3 months now, and I have had the solid waste to come back to me wanting some feedback. So these situations relating to collection points and rubbish now have been delegated to the community board to deal with. And those of you who were on the board might remember we actually dealt with a collection point petition from the community of Kaukaua, Waikino Road, Waikei, over the collection point at Taumārori some time back with the one-way bridges, and it just became a massive dumping of rubbish and community wakanas, and we got a very, very substantial petition from a lot of residents in the area, and the decision was made to actually remove the collection point. That's just an example of what we worked through, but the way in which we worked through that under the new delegation was to actually go to the complainant or the RFS lodger and say, look, if you would like to bring to the board a petition from the residents in the neighbourhood, the users of the facility, and there's enough support there within the community, we will look at the recommendation to council to actually close down that collection point. We've had 2 requests there. I don't know how either of these operate. They fall in the Kirikiri area. Montrose Road is one of them, and the other one is on the corner of Wera and Rodoa. And I did put it out, thank you, I think, Tyler and Amy and Lane, they've replied to me that you didn't really know anything about it or where it was a problem. One of them I'm aware of. My comment was to invite them to bring a petition to our, or come to speak to us in public forum, and the gentleman declined. He didn't want to do that. So I think we have to look at how we actually cast our net wide and deal with these issues, whether these are just individuals. The other, I believe, is a neighbour. And the issue that we have with the waste bylaw is that it is limited when it comes to actually controlling these collection points. So it's up to us to determine as a board from complainants as to whether or not the issue is valid enough to actually remove or close the collection point, which to a lot of people is a very important service within their local community, because they may not have any other way of disposing or getting to or from landfill or recycling. So really just looking for some comment as to how you would like me to go back to the REBs. Should we stick to having petitions presented to us, do you feel?
Chair, I would suggest that whoever's the closest community board that has knowledge of that area should probably go visit and assess what's going on and try and see what seems to be the problem, and maybe knock on a couple of doors. And
the problem basically is the land's not wanting to have them, and the main issue is people put bags out late. They can be there for some days and eat. The other issue that we tend to get from these is the fact that people dump rubbish that's not necessarily collectible or gets left, and there also is a case when people are going away or put rubbish out too early, and then dogs might get into it, or it's the same issues.
But it's a very minor problem. Is it ongoing every week, 4 weeks? I mean, there's a big difference between one occasion being a bit go pear-shaped and it being a constant problem.
And hence the locals themselves and the users of the facility have input into it. I guess barring that.
Madam Chair, could I suggest that you don't make any decision today, but that you invite Simon Millerchap to come to the next community board meeting? Perhaps he could come in a half an hour before him and have a chat with the board. But there's new legislation now around the management of curbside collections and solid waste, and I think he would be able to enlighten the board, perhaps, of what your options are.
And there's a whole bit of good discussions with Simon, and he's pretty well on it's up to you guys. So it's
but bear in mind we just go through the process contracts as well. But I think it would be beneficial, for the whole board to hear that conversation.
Right, even if he can come on virtually, because I know how busy he is.
But I do think there needs to be some effort by council or council staff to mail drop the area to ask them, or find out their opinions or get them to give feedback.
This is just one person who's upset.
Is it just one person that's upset on an occasion, or is it a genuine problem that needs resolving? I have no idea.
Of course, I was going to always have something to say, considering you spoke about areas over there about Harley Road. So it wasn't just a minor problem. It was basically people were dropping off rubbish every day of the week. And then what the public was seeing was rats running all over the place down there. And of course, dog dripping up all the bags and spilled everywhere. I think for me, it's about where you put these spaces. Put it right into that area where you put it. It's way out in plain sight. I mean, what we're seeing in that area as well is that people running around like to illegally dump, drop it in that area too. Just for an example, I mean, we pulled something like 3 tons of rubbish just across from where the was. One of the problems that you have to look at is that by moving them to the pickup point, there's actually other people that don't have change or best places they can get to. You can, I suppose, a beauty station. But for me, I think it should always be about the people around the media. Because one thing is, I suppose, a petition to the community. But a lot of them will just, I suppose, vote on what's convenient for them. But I think there needs to be, I suppose, some hard input for those wildlife that are we can see. Why the ones around the media ultimately, I think it was a very silly place to put it, considering some 20 meters away, because that's how I understood. And so, of course, it's a part of the term idea, but catchment is a place that there was the idea in the first place, because people put it there and then suddenly have a storm and more. So,
There have been some very interesting points in there that I should have just come to us was huge, had addresses on it. And it was all the residents that area, so we were able to identify all the households in the petition, which was really crucial on our decision. We need more information.
Yeah, so thank you for that.
Just one. The one that I live on, I think, was probably the least of this stuff. Or legally dumped rubbish. So we have a rubbish collection on Friday and a recycling and collection on Monday. And so what happened was just constantly, the minute the rubbish truck came through, the bag started again. And we had the same problem Roddy talked about. Rats, dogs, chickens, constantly ripping the bags open. Then the wind comes, and then the rain, and the next thing it's all in that. The water, they developed a cage. So we're a trial all night. We've got an enormous little cage now on the corner of our road. And the rubbish still comes every single day, but it's all contained inside the cage, which means that you have to do a good old-fashioned hammer throw to get it in. But once it's in there, it's all contained. And it's really tied up the entire intersection. And what I'll try and do is take a photograph and send it to you guys so you can see what it looks like. Because there are these rather old campground service, it isn't tidy. It won't stop legal dumping. People don't buy Northland place, the blue company. The one I get them confused in my marketing, but it's the locally owned one. So they've got it seems to be working. So that's another option.
Steel cages. It's the one that when you go down Waimati North Road, so they already have one of those cages.
You call some time ago, there was a petition on the Wari Road, and yes, a large percentage of people signed that petition. Simon sort of through the cracks until I brought it back up to him, and he put the appropriate signage, there's a state prosecution, etc. So no difference at all. Same rubbish pile has been there. I'm keeping it everywhere. So just another stream, which was just another stream. So I'll try and find that one again.
Okay, so
Discussed it one on that road too.
this is what other issues to the fore. So I will thank you and see if I can get Simon to come along and process. So our pre-meeting or even on coordination before we go back to these people. Right, moving on. Lane.
Next line.
Good questions. Cautious.
No. He asks to be very questions.
Must be a slow day, right?
Questions fine. Just want to acknowledge your queries, Amy, in relation to chemos and chemo, and to thank you and for getting on forward. According to the roving guru, to see just exactly what the situation was with them. So thanks, and for doing so quickly and some responses for us. Okay. I need Bruce.
All the lines and bones just like you, just basically about roading as it usually is this time of year too.
Yeah, good one.
But you did have one big issue on the road. Grass was so long reaching right over Popeye. Shocking situation that the old Ryan wheelchair got tipped down his wheelchair. Right, yeah. And it took quite some time to get there to fix it. Just mowed it last week. And I'm asked them to spray it as well as the mows. Logics will be that they should do that. And the logic seems to go out the window these days. It seems to me that it's frustrating that we have got to identify all these problems that we have in our communities without the council being proactive and seeing them themselves. You know, we've got road drivers and not road drivers aren't working like that. But, you know, the staff do go around. It's a shame that they don't recognize see these issues that are there and they're obvious. And that one was, but yeah.
In relation to the high grass and weeds around Bruce, there has been a number of incidences in our business around this complaints. And what I have discovered over in our ward is because it's been so hot and dry, the grass didn't grow 2 or 3 months much. So the lawns weren't getting mown. And as such, the contractors who come to the site, or when they were inspecting the grass grow, they weren't inspecting and dealing with the weeds in the surrounding areas. And a lot of the concrete and weeds between the curb and the plants and all over the place. And if it's a district-wide problem, it's something that we need to make sure we get some sort of monitoring and assessment with the contractors, because the lawns look fabulous, but yeah, the growth out of the concrete everywhere has been
particularly covered by that contract. Separate from they had the big commercial models, big contractors along each other do it. But even so, they really use their logics. Very nice. See what we're going to do. They wouldn't want to put they're very, very busy road, which is 100 k's an hour. It's another issue.
And the same is happening in the CBD areas, so I'm not sure how Kenny was over the summer, but certainly I think that feedback came overnight. So
this grass is more shoulder height. That long has been on the time.
the fire has it too in its fire, doesn't it?
Well, I'd see it actually.
Okay. Any questions for Bruce? Jane. Imagine to cross some off there, I see. Great work. Thank you, Kim.
Some of them have been crossed off without us actually knowing that the work had even been completed because nobody told us. So it's more that we've stumbled across the fact that we can cross them off.
And I've got a feeling they actually got the lines painted when somebody put a new driveway in. They put it as part of the consent town up in yellow thing. So I don't think the council had anything to do with it. I think
the Long Beach trip.
yeah, no, the Long Beach turning circle. So the land at the end of Long Beach is a very nice, beautifully channeled curbs. Access way into it, which we've admired and gone, wish the council could work like that. And he said, yes, it's jolly expensive. And then suddenly I noticed that the yellow lines on the turning circle have also been done along with these yellow lines on the access way. Some people in council asked them to do it at the same time, which is why we never had about it.
Can I get it now? Because I need the post office card.
Christmas bells,
Only 2 years.
Only 2 years.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for the ones outside the schools to be marked as parking person for 3 years.
Some painting posts up in my for more. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our report. So moved by James, seconded by Tyler. All those in support? Against? Carried. Okay. Right, moving on to item 7.2, road naming. That the Bay Islands-Whangaroa Community Board name the private road currently addressed at 119 Redcliffe Road as Meridian Drive. Do I have a mover? Elaine, second.
Yes.
Tyler. Shouldn't be any discussion around this. It's been through the process. You will just vote in the little box below where it says road name, and it actually does have State Highway 1 colour. That's from another application, just in the body of the report here in the background. Other than that, any further discussion around this? No. Finish the vote. Move Lay, second and Kyle. All those in support? Against? Carried. Move on to the next one, item 7.3. The Bay Islands-Whangaroa Community Board name the new road currently addressed at 4999 to 5001 State Highway 1 Kawakawa as Te Wharenga Drive. Te Wharenga Drive. Further? Thank you, Jane. Seconded for that. Jane, thank you. Been to Ngāti Hei, there should be no discussion around this. Great to see these houses going up on this side.
Much rather than clearing the two.
It's good. And the third one we have is item 7.4. The Bay Islands-Whangaroa Community Board name the road currently addressed as 66 Access Road, Kitty as Oak Rise. Remember? Sorry, thank you. Thank you, Carla. Again, just the note in the box, State Highway 10. Should have 66 Access Road. This is being Ngāti here. Being approved, all those in support. Yes, carried. Thank you. Thanks to our rating report rights, we finally have a system that seems to be reaching better engagement. Who's ourselves at the beginning of the meeting? I said, but no, this morning must have been Nicole Morning. Welcome. So we've got Trinity and
as well, Cara Downey, so that's manager of the ETA. Trinity's part of the team, so it's kind of supportive group this morning.
Great.
She's doing a wonderful job of getting coordinating.
Wonderful. It's hope they keep coming like this. Trinity, it certainly makes our lives a lot easier when the direct engagement and information comes in the report. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes.
Chair, you did good.
Most immediately, most apologies for not introducing ourselves at the beginning.
Thank you very much. See you.
See you. Right, moving on to item 7.5. Project funding reports. At the Islands-Whangaroa Community Board note the project reports received from Northland Floral Arts Society, Tuna Centre for Urban Welfare, Alcohol Business Association, Christmas 2023, and Te Kimura Kura Whangaroa Arts Festival. Labour. Thank you, Jane. Discussion around these?
Chair, is there a policy or protocol if somebody makes some profits? She said, looking at Catherine.
No.
Okay. I know they've got some more expenses to pay as well. They've got from that standard. Not particularly fussed about it. I just wanted some policies.
Just more general part about like, do we always get a report for Christmas parades? Christmas.
We're supposed to. Yes.
Right. So we don't always see.
Oh, we do. We're supposed to. That's pretty good.
Usually when they put it on the site, so you're like, okay, so we put it in at the same time.
Okay.
So we do need to be a bit more vigilant about that as opposed to heavy funding that by within 3 months.
Sure. Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
Advertising for Christmas.
We're pretty lenient on that, so I'm just like, you need to get your application forward. So people need to see the report will come through the meeting after, because it's been received after I've written the report. So
I was more interested in looking for acknowledgements, and I have to say, not really thrilled with the responses as to how we are being acknowledged. I know we send our logos out so that they can be used in various events and facilities.
changing the wording every time I send it out, and we want to celebrate the successes, but we need to see that we're acknowledged.
Yeah.
So,
The program had a nice thing with the logo of popular programs.
Yes. And also, I'll you on social media or
Yeah.
a screenshot even would be nice because I haven't seen the acknowledgement from some of these events, but I think it's a big, I'm
more likely to put it in their program, but we didn't have a copy of the program, but they did say they put all sponsors in this.
sure.
I did make part-time when I go to the tuna because that was it's no better. Really no acknowledgement of what it will contribute. Even the on their funding, and said they should be doing more to the folks, acknowledge those who contribute to the community through the events, gospel, and
Yeah.
and the reflecting community report was a people voting and now working so.
Sure. We do have a usable project, and I'm not sure where it's where, but we do it. In case I don't think
So it was in place for some period of time and that's back in series.
it's done around the good roots. It's pretty behavioral, but it is like home.
I was looking for it last month and couldn't find it in the accounts and storage. So I came along with looking, so.
So I might be interested to find out because we could, it's got a good stand and it's a great place. So we could actually find it. We can feed around the likes of the parks, but typical Christmas shows and health and safety issues as well. But do we know where our community board flag may be?
No, I think the last I saw it was.
Bruce, I definitely think.
It's like right there.
Well, Madam Chairman, I make the point that we're giving ratepayers money away to people, and they, the ratepayers, the acknowledgement, not necessarily up, but And again, it's appropriate that we ask them to acknowledge the ratepayers' contribution.
It's somewhat similar to a sponsorship agreement, right?
Yes. Anyway, female Bruce Michigan's farm. What lights funds outside church door hall.
It's not. Oh, I did the other day.
Thanks for joining us.
Well, we said move it around. This is great.
Okay, so
We can make application to the community board.
We could.
no.
They're not expensive.
We'll put our voting heads on as to where it lies. Right, funding reports moved by Amy, seconded by Jane. All those in support? Against? Carried. Into our funding applications. Thank yous one at a time. First application at the Bay of Islands-Whangaroa Community Board approved the sum of $850 plus dues due to the football paid from the board's community fund account at Islands Walkways Trust towards the cost of printing of the Kinnikini Waterfall Place brochure. Do I have seconder? Tyler? Joshua?
Chair, this particular group is constantly active at doing pathways and all the rest of it, and they're fairly self-sufficient. But in this case, they ran short. I think I'm not sure what the total cost was and what they were doing. They raised over $3,000 themselves and frantically came. But anyway, I think it's worthwhile.
Tyler?
I agree. I almost wonder if it would it be placemaking in a sense because we were just going to do the track or that would be another question. I don't know.
You know, it's hard because in this case they build the track and they maintain it. And Bob Bingham, who's the driver of this, came out of Vision Kerikeri, and I think he's still a member of Vision Kerikeri. But he's always got another project that he's trying to push forward or lobby for another track. But he's also very keen that they be used. He doesn't want. So they come up with this brochure that they put around all the tourist places and hotels to tell people what these are tracks and you should use them. Seems to work. So.
Madam Chair, I think it's a great application. What they're doing is fantastic. I checked out their website. They've got interactive maps and stuff like that show you where they are. But just ask that they put our logo on the brochure because we are effectively sponsoring their brochure. That's the only stipulation. So I hope they haven't printed it.
He actually asked me for it before the meeting, and I went, because it hasn't gone through the meeting yet. I can send you the logo, but please don't.
Yeah, because we are a sponsor just as some of the advertisers that we've got. But yeah, he's doing great work. And if you could also ask him to put our correct logo on the website and our correct name, that would be really good as well. He's got us as the Far North Bay of Islands Community Board or something. Sure. I know.
I said, I want out.
I can see he's trying really hard. So if you just again say it, also you just swap it out on the website. Yeah, no, I'm doing a great job.
It was more than I was just like, can you please hold off until the meeting?
Moved by Lacey, seconded by Tyler for $850. All those in support? Yes. So,
I'll be abstaining on all of them.
moving on to the second application at the Bay of Islands-Whangaroa Community Board approved the sum of $1,500 plus GST applicable be paid from the board's community grant fund towards the Artaka Thompson New Salem Trust towards the cost of drowning prevention training for staff. Do I have a mover? Bruce, we on the table. Seconder, Claire. Discussion around this.
I think they're doing a great job. I agree with that, John Shufford. Good looking fun, Jay.
through the chair, I'm just concerned that the only people that benefit from it really are 10 staff involved. That's my concern with this application. And, there's not a lot of community benefit for it. So, but the crew are being trained, not kids.
Sorry, through the chair. My question is this not just an operational cost to upskill your own staff? And then they make money through the operations to then pay on this.
That's one thing I would like you to think about, which is something that should be brought up in your criteria, Jane, but if you look on page 69, we have actually granted funding in November of last year, so we've already granted Tucker Thompson funding in this financial year, whether that's something you would like to consider or not in your decision making. Admittedly, that was for the children, but any proceeds to go out. But just wanted to point that out. When you want to fund an organisation, will do more than once in the financial year.
Well, as chair of the, anything to do to help drowning prevention, it's going to be a big thing because it's pretty scary in this area. And I don't believe that the schools in general, there seems to be falling off of the training of the children, and it comes back to the families. So, yes, I'd like to support that getting some more training, some more emphasis. So the people who are going on those trips, they come away with a lot of information and a lot of drive, which they share with all their photo. So, I'd like to say I support it.
People discussion around it, we've got a recommendation on the table. $1,500, I'll put it to the vote. Who those in support, raise your hands. Against? So that is lost. We need one more to conclude. Sorry, through the chair, just clarifying that you wanted to be noted as abstaining for all of these. Yeah, thank you. Any voted against? For motion. Right, moving on to the next recommendation that the Islands-Whangaroa Community Board approve the sum of $5,000 plus GST will be paid from the Board's Community Grant Fund account to Longline Productions towards the cost of filming the short film Molly Malone and Whangaroa. Do I have a mover? Bruce, seconder. Thank you, Jane. It did request $10,000 and the recommendation is 5. Discussion.
My thoughts, again, it's local one for Whangaroa, great promotion for Whangaroa. Yes, the fact that they're trying to attract other productions, which will bring a lot more money into the area, is quite a big thing. I was confused to start with, as you usually am. This is all about. And that's, they seem to be floating pretty close to the wind. So it's still a fine line. But I think it could be a great thing. It's happening around this time as well.
Yeah, given your additional information. So it's actually quite a nice story. Great.
So as I said, I asked if I can show them Whangaroa, which we hire for it. And
good suggestion.
That would be a great thing for the community.
Yeah.
So
as well as
Through the chair, I see it was legal at the as well.
I did the usual Grinch look at it and go, I don't like the look of this, and then I started reading it, and then I really got captivated by it. And I really actually love this application. I'd like to foreshadow an amendment
and give them the 10 grand. Because I think that will make a difference for me to do it or not do it, just based on the questioning. And I think it could be like that piece of music where it will live and provide a legacy that the whole community will feel proud of. And I love the idea that we have it shown in Whangaroa in the Kaio Community Hall. If we can encourage them, if they've got the money to do it elsewhere, we've shown some reporter about it, it's like a movie. Yeah, I don't know how you feel about increasing the amount of money, but I just think they're so stretched that we could make a difference from actually being able to do it well. And so, just have to say that.
And I just say that to $10,000.
Well, there's permission, so there's
So we can, if Bruce is still maybe a move change and you're happy to see to it, we can just change the resolution to 10,000 and vote on that. Yeah. So through the chair. Yes, we can do.
Just sorry through the chair. I just wanted to comment on it too. I just think there's like, I think this is a bit of a gamble in a sense, right? Like this is it's an opportunity for us to invest in you know, potential future filmmaking abroad. We just tell fun stories. And I, for one, sort of resonate with the story being told on my very white fellow who comes from Whanau land up on Katikati Peninsula and had sort of similar experiences as a kid. And you know, I would imagine there's a bunch of people that can resonate with that story. And I think that not just up here as well, throughout the country. And I think there's when a story like that is so simply done, potentially there's such a wide audience, but also like this display and more. But I think there's a good chance of success. And I think I support what Jane's saying was going to the 10 grand because the look on their faces when you said that the amount that recommended was 5 grand, they suddenly went, oh no, how are we going to, and they were talking about putting multiple people into one room and things like that to figure out how they could get it done.
Between making it and not making it.
Support that. So.
Almost feel like
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's an awesome
And maybe we can show it at the Turner Centre as well.
Yeah, that one.
The opportunity is to actually give it a much broader community benefit than just the filming and the local production. I think we can.
So 2 things with it. She said it will be under 15 minutes because it has to be under 15 minutes to be eligible for festivals. And so there's definitely the possibility they're definitely keen to share it. And on a side track to what Tyler was saying there was some filming done in Te Hiku Ward over the Christmas break by a fairly large international company because New Zealand had to stand in for Japan because there'd been earthquakes and tsunami over there. And those film crews have all said, we want to come back and film more here. So it really is a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to speak?
Yeah,
Or against?
I think I like the idea. I like the idea. I think it's a great opportunity for us to showcase our little communities between Whangaroa. Anything that I'm scratching my head is that if you're going to be using local actors, if you're going to be using local businesses, and you're dealing with the rurunga, it's half of the life of me. Figure out why they never asked to go or support from the rurunga. Because the rurunga actually have been housed in businesses. Especially when it's within the territories. You see the rurunga funding a lot of things that have a connection to the areas. And I think a lot of times people don't really understand or think or know about the rurunga issue. And this thing, I know something, and I'm hoping that someone will talk to Te Whonga, and ask Te Whonga if these rurungas to do something up to we actually have information that we can direct them to. Not because ultimately the board's resources being financial standing isn't that huge. And so it's always good to know that these other groups out there, but it comes down to this bit of a support for change. And
some good points in there that could be down to
They might not understand.
They went through that model, didn't they?
perhaps, achievement, sentence achievements, board perspective.
She's not covered, which is I'll keep on going, you know.
Right, there being no further discussion, I'll put this to the vote. Moved by Gary, seconded by Jane. $10,000 to Longline Productions towards the cost of filming a short film by Malone and Whangaroa. All those in support, raise your hand. Against? Abstain? So there's 3 abstain. So that's carried. So you want that noted? So Lane, and abstention.
So.
Okay, moving on. Whangaroa Community Bank approved the sum of $3,200 plus GST that will be paid from the board's community fund towards account. The Return Centre is the cost of adult classes. Thanks, Amy, to get this on the table, isn't it? Tyler? Or is it you, Roddy? Yeah. Roddy? Moved Amy, seconded Roddy. Discussion?
I think it the first event, so we need to, we don't know how it's going to turn out, so it'd be nice to support it from its time. And I think it's really nice to try and diversify the use of the Turner Centre rather than being for special concert and ticketed event, and just try and keep it and make it more a community venue. So I really like that idea. It'll be really interesting to see what kind of do more. It'll be really good idea to try and get there. So I like it.
Rodney, seconder?
He's already stated that they ran a survey and the community wanted this. And so I'm to assume what he's done his homework, he's supporting inside the community, people come forward to see if they want this. And I think the consideration is kind of an obligation to the people, especially for me. And with all this controversy and rubbish and all that, for me, it's good to, showcase our model. It's not about politics for me, but it's about just having it there. I think it's got a great opportunity, not just for the community, but maybe to help dampen down all the fire that's been caused through the last couple of months.
Madam Chair, I have no particular comment on the activity. What I'm concerned with is the Turner Centre is becoming something that it wasn't originally. I keep seeing the applications from the Turner Centre, and I think Jerry's doing a great job and all of that. But I think that needs clarification. So otherwise, we're just funding production company with community events that they're valid and all the rest of it. I certainly won't vote against it, but we need to clarify with the Turner Centre. Are they going to become the applicant for every event?
Community.
Well, it's not. Well, it's not that. Well, I'm not. That's not a discussion, but we need to clarify what the Turner Centre is. In my opinion, that it's going through some transitions.
I hear you, Lane, and I feel this is a question that we need to take to council.
I think that's very
something can we can note that. that it would be really good to have an update from the board perspective on the Turner Centre. What's happening? Where's it heading? What are the expectations within the community? Obviously, as Amy says, it is a community centre to hold the community.
But it feels like it is to my friend group, is that we often talk about, and I think it's just changed because Jerry's more in touch with the community and trying to change how it is perceived. So I think
I don't disagree with you in any way.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Through the chair, I think we are being quite diligent in focusing our funding applications for things that are kind of non-commercial. So you look like Trouble in Paradise, it's not ever going to be a commercial success. This is not. This is why I asked him about the core part, because I would envisage that this is the first event and the next year it should be freestanding and should not require funding. So, I mean, I'm quite deliberate when I kind of look at the applications. That if they're community focused activities that they would not normally put on without support, then I guess that's where I.
Plus, it's an inaugural event.
Yeah.
So we need to see how it's going to go. You know, I mean,
I'm not trying to be the Grinch that stole Christmas. I'm just asking the question. I appreciate that I am on camera. But if there was a Kapa Haka group that was coming to us for money to do exactly the same thing that Jerry's doing, I would have no issue whatsoever.
So I think that's where there isn't. Yeah, so I think that's the issue, though, right? Is that we've got a guy here who is facilitating these multiple different groups to come here, and they don't really have the capabilities, it seems to me, or maybe even wherewithal to put these applications through. So he's kind of diligently enabling them to do that, and you know, we keep saying yes to him. You know, so he's not gonna stop one of the games, you know. And I think he's kind of got our number. He knows that, you know, we want things that are, you know, benefit the community, that, you know, provide, you know, experiences they probably wouldn't get otherwise. They're not commercial ventures, and they're filling the centre. They happen to be here, which is somewhat a community hall in a sense. And I don't think the council agreement's in place yet in regards to what's happening here either. So I don't think that's a good excuse yet either, because although that's been discussed, I don't think there's anything locked solid or anything's happening. Yeah. So we've kind of just got to carry on with either figuring if this is something we want to support as a community event or not.
And Madam Chair, through your own comments, you say you like to back things that are going to be successful. Do know that Jerry will probably make it a success.
Yeah.
If you just gave it to the two people who are running the classes and they applied in their own right, we'd be concerned that they got 40 people there and that they could host it and say, and then you have to pay the turn and all the rest of it. So this is quite
and that's the difference. You've got the venue, you've got the stage to make it spectacle, you've got the auditorium to bring workshops and baseball to someone, another one of our community venues. And it would be inadequate, it wouldn't be the same success.
So we might fund it if it was in baseball, but it's probably going to be more successful if it's under this umbrella, which speaks to your this kind of winners.
You do raise an excellent point. Something needs to be figured out in regards to what the Turner Centre is and what function it serves. And the council needs to figure that out whenever they get their agreement in place.
Just wanting to confirm what Tyler said, where that agreement isn't in place yet. The first year of the agreement is probably going to be very lax. We're probably not going to be having a discussion around what the Turner Centre is, what is the purpose. It'll be like, okay, let's just get it in place so that things can keep rolling as it is, and then council will need to make a decision and relook at that at a later date.
So we'll probably have different things on this, what you're saying. We won't be looking at it as the Turner Centre, we'll just be looking at it as standalone application, irrespective of that Julie is constantly presented here of this terrible out. Okay. Any more discussion around this? I love that it's the graduation on Monday. I actually, so there's another opportunity. That's why I feel this will succeed, because you know, if they come out at Monday, then that can be part of whatever the festivities are in Kirikiri or the wider Bay Islands area. But I'm not sure where the people are going to come from. Yes, they could come from Ireland.
It'd be interesting to see how many.
Yeah, I think everybody's. Yeah. So, you're okay. Okay.
So before you go again,
Yes,
just with the terms of Matariki, sometimes it's really, really hard to get their hands on their country and say all these groups like Erie's books here. A lot of times they get left out. And to give you an idea, the whole Tarawa, that's just about the whole West Coast. Not one of them actually received funding from it. And go down and have a look. I mean, there was very little being offered really in our area, apart from the red shops that we supported.
It was funding that I was aware of. I think I currently got funding towards Matariki and Waitangi got funding towards Matariki.
Yeah.
There was some funding at, I think, Northern Pink level. That, infrastructure grant, that probably won't exist.
Madam Chair, is it worth putting the plenary out on our Facebook page, saying to groups, now is the time if you want to do a Matariki event to think about applying to community board? Would that be any?
But I think it's an organisational committee though doing that.
Jackie's got something with the in regards
Yes, I think there's some combination, blah blah, Jackie and Unforgettable, the marketing.
What about the Hapu? I mean, this is done by Martin Reiki, so it's quite good that we've actually got a Hapu event that's celebrating Matariki, but others out there that might not think to come to the community board but want to do something.
Through the chair, we do actually have on our website that only for the funding applications that if anyone is applying for Matariki events, they have to be in by May to be considered, but we haven't pushed it as such.
Should I put something on the Facebook page then?
We can share it. Yeah.
Well, you know,
as you still have to get funding, so all it says on the website is we've got all the application dates for the year, and when it gets to May, it says applications for Matariki events should be lodged no later than this date. So that they're considered before Matariki, because everyone needs everything, I suppose.
That was just during the attention to the fact that I see it, especially me. If you put it on the page, you're going to have to think that that's where everyone's going to target you.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. I'm not asking to put it out there, but what I'm doing is drawing our attention to the importance of groups that come with that mindset in place, that they are willing to do the work in order to do concerts for Matariki. That's more reason an opportunity. Not that we can change you, because
I think you have to do a little bit more work in finding out who's actually who the organisation group are, because I think it's quite big. And I think the event will be big. It was a massive success last year. I went into this year each.
There's also local little events that happen during Matariki, so we have one.
Yeah, I guess the hope is that we do get some of the smaller groups applying for funding rather than very big groups that put on big shows. Yeah, there's absolutely planning.
But their events may not succeed unless they get them involved with the main events organisers, is my feeling. Because it's becoming such a draw card,
So Creative Communities met yesterday, and we've already got applications coming through then for Matariki. There was actually Jackie that put in, and one of the committee members said, "Oh, why don't you come to the Hokianga?" And she said, "Because we haven't had an invitation, and when I tried to go over there, I've had pushback." So there is a little bit of territorialism, perhaps, with some of the bigger ones trying to help some of the small ones, but there's definitely the will there for communication to be in there. and they would work together.
Right, any further discussion? This is moved and seconded by Roy to approve the sum of $3,200. Turn a centre towards the cost of adult cover harp and classes. All those in support? Against? Abstained? And in line. And the final recommendation on page, this is a historical one, to rescind some funds. I'll move that the Bay of Islands-Whangaroa Community Board A rescind resolution 2022/10 3rd of March 2022 to Rangatane Residents and Ratepayers Association CCTV as the funds have not been uplifted and the applicant has not responded to attempts to contact them. And B, direct the amount of $5,149 to be returned to the community development fund for the allocation. Do I have a second? Thank you, May.
You can go to fund the movie and
Against? Thank you.
that was where my head was at.
And were you abstaining from that, or you supporting someone else?
Abstaining. Thank you.
Sorry, through the chair, just when with bus funding, I'm not sure how to approach this or anything, but we've got a right to place making fund, and I understand we're doing a reserve management plan for us in Islands-Whangaroa. Would it be appropriate to discuss this in a meeting or a workshop or something, but marking some of that money to go towards getting them started on whatever placemaking projects?
That, in my opinion, Tyler, that will come as a natural once we work with Robin Wilson and the community over the steps, but it's every days yet. But I'm sure before the end of this financial year, we certainly we'd like to. I'd like to see the Kitty domain completed, finished off, in its entirety. As you know, with PGE funding, nothing is ever free. It's cost us an awful lot of more work, and it's a fabulous asset, and there's still some tidying up to do on that, so that they will be required. I also note on that particular project, in our long-term plan, we request from our Kitty and community to do stage on the domain, which was not in the original plan, but has evolved throughout the plan, has actually been pushed out and or dropped. It's been pushed out to year 4 or 5. Stage on Kitty domain. It was in the long-term plan. I'm sure it's not there anymore.
So, Chair, I'm sorry I can't answer. I have not my action in the say of every project.
Through the chair, it has been pushed out to year 4. So all the projects, I think there was 3 of them that had made it into LP8 have been pushed out to year 4.
So in essence, we have no projects at hand in this 3-year term, so it looks like LGP. So it may be, and I'm not jumping the gun here and assuming I would just like to have that discussion around let's complete the projects we've got on the table, is that, and we've got Jane with Russell placemaking, we have money tagged to that, but by June we should have a better idea and have some costings and getting on with what stages and looking at procurement and getting some ideas as to what that's going to cost. I'm sure there's not going to be an underrun, I'm sure it'll be an overrun. And then our next project, I would assume, would be Simpson Park.
Cool.
So,
and our expectation would be that the capital has to what we want and how we're going to go about achieving it.
It'll go through, Roddy will work through a process with Robin on how, once they get through your start engagement, you're at the next stage, I believe.
I've been on the every week. Basically, what we're doing, the first order of business was to engage our youth. Basically, the community decided that more than we need us old folks deciding what goes into the planning. We should be more open to hearing what our youth do. And so currently we group of 6 youth who are undergoing training and how to communicate with mainly the youth in the area, how to take down contamination. And so they've been walking around the reserve. They've been doing some really awesome work. And of course, it's been headed by one of the young youth that took part in helping to do the engagement in Kirikiri. He's actually come across from Kirikiri from the college to join and basically lead this new group and give them ideas of how they resolve things here in Kirikiri with the, I suppose, the youth engagement. And so he's been a real awesome asset. And I think if our youth would be ahead of BYU, we'll kind of future. We say that, you know, it's opened up a lot of bonding. It's good to see our youth bonding and just giving them a new lease of life. And then you can see them, their families are really supportive. And say, I only get there and I speak for a few minutes and then I walk away. The reason I'm there, I just go there just so they know I'm there. If they have any questions for me, they can ask me. But for me, stepping away allows them the freedom of their own imagination and thinking about their own aspirations without having someone over there that they think is there to guide them or tell them what to do. And so it's been a great learning for me, and been a great learning for those who hold it. There have been some requests, but they're not submitted. And so they have come to me and said, Nicola, do you think that, you know, a basketball court can just have a bit of paint? Because there's no lines on it. And so, actually, I've just said that, if you want, we can put in an application in, or do you want to wait and then choose? You want to identify all of the things that you would like to see. So there will be a little discussion. We don't want big things, we just want little things. And I think it's about keeping the dream and the aspirations for the area alive. Yeah.
I think it will always work if the youth are the drivers. You know, they will make it happen, and that's what Islands is about, is daring to dream. And if they can actually get all their dreams on paper and their visions and work through them, eventually they'll remember it domain. It's neat. It will continue. Things will continue to happen or not happen as the community sees fit for the use of it. So it's but I think I read somewhere where they're going to the next stage of engagement, Robin. So you know, the youth will drive that initially, and you can go to the next level. But it's great that you're working on the other community, because there's so much that can be learned from people.
In terms of the next level, I mean, it's, we have that corporate there. So it's a tricky situation because we're both monetary. But then you have the little hub who don't give people a kind of model. And then you have the big indie franchise. They're sitting there, so you don't see the ball. So basically, in the first engagement, I bought them all from the youth, and then I thought I happy. You say.
That will resolve itself well, because after working through MOU with council at the moment, and they've updated their environmental management plans, and they've identified reserves and equipment and willingness to be involved. So, you know, they've got the documents there, the support for what we're doing. So it will be a natural that you'll end up with people. everybody.
Yeah. And it's a good thing about it, because they're now being put in a situation where they have to bring things up.
Yeah. Good. Love it. Okay, so thanks for that update, Rolly, and long-winded answer.
Yeah.
I must tailor to your question, but I'm going to preempt, that there's a case really of, through the long-term plan process, ensuring that we can hold on to that person with money for the benefit of our communities moving forward. And we know we're coming to the new financial year. We know Jane's under some pressure. She's not, but she has to be able to keep that vehicle moving because the community's willing, and as soon as you lose that enthusiasm of placemaking, you are part of the way in regress. So we've got an end of financial year, council's accountable, from an auditing perspective for that money that we had already carried over from the last financial year, got caught up in COVID and that's to carry on. Staff leaving, lots of things here. So the ball's rolling there. Watch the space. Going to be challenging. It's going to be a pilot for the new guidelines for council's placemaking for KIP. So we'll see how that can go. Right. That's all our funding applications for today. So that leaves us with item 8.1, page 84. We're looking pretty good on girls, aren't we? Thanks to Blair and Kim. We don't really have anything on our open resolution sheet. I don't know if Vale on Summer Community Board received the Vale on Summer Community Board February open resolution sheet. Do I have that segment? Tyler? We have 2 items left there. Bay of Islands off-leash dog park. You'll see the latest update there. And it could be on our list for quite some time. Yeah.
It comes off a list, it falls off a list.
That's the idea of the action list on it.
So we don't lose it.
In action. And finally, we've got the Reserve Management Plan Program. That's where I read it, right? That the community engagement take place February, March, followed by formal reserves at consultation.
Yeah.
So that's in process. Any other comments on that? Nothing to add? No, we're doing well. All those in support? Against? No. With that, we come to the close of our meeting. And thank you to all those online who joined us today. And I will ask Amy to close us with a karakia.
Kia ora te marino kia whakapapa whanamu te moana. Hei uarahi mā tātou I te rangi nei. Aroha atu aroha mā tātou I a tātou kāpō.
Kia ora, Amy. That brings our business for today.
Easy by street and take that brings up. I know for us all this day, give my receive my prayer, show respect for each other.
Make it a nice Thank you. And Colson, can you confirm that live streaming is finished, please?